right, well, as we go to air this morning, the deadly Hantavirus outbreak has grown to 11 reported cases as fears grow the fatal rat virus could mutate before spreading further around the world. The fresh warning comes as the Australian passengers of the ill-fated cruise ship remain stranded in the Netherlands as federal authorities struggle to find a country willing to allow their plane to stop and refuel as it makes its way to Perth. For more, we're joined by Professor Paul Griffin, infectious diseases expert. Paul, good morning to you. Let's start with this potential mutation. How serious is that?
Look, I think there's not really a lot of potential for this virus to mutate. There have been studies 22 years apart of outbreaks in Argentina where there was very little change, no significant mutations. And from the analysis we have so far, there's been no sign of any significant mutations. I mean, some viruses are very prone to being out of change. We saw COVID do that, flu can do that. But this virus simply isn't one of those. And, you know, the cases we're hearing about recently were probably infected right at the beginning before we identified this outbreak because of that long incubation period. So I think the chance of any mutations or new cases or third generation cases is actually extremely low.
That's positive. The infection itself is just terrible, though. A French woman infected is currently being treated with a life support device that pumps blood through an artificial young. It's terrible if you get it.
Absolutely. The severity is why we're talking about this. It doesn't really have the potential to spread. It's not going to be the next outbreak, but it's very severe. So we want to control it and control it well. And, you know, they're the measures that we're seeing at the moment, the quarantine periods, the PPE that's being applied. So that's what's going to make sure we don't see many more cases because it is very severe. And we're seeing evidence of that, for example, in that patient as well.
Paul, helping answer some questions, Argentina's finally sending a scientific team to, I guess, investigate ground zero, the origin of the outbreak. What should they be looking at?
Yeah, I think there's lots to look at. The animals that are infected, we have seen a lot of human cases. There are over 100 so far this year, so there is a bit of an outbreak in humans already in Argentina. So looking at those animal reservoirs, because the bulk of these cases do come directly from rodents, so investigating the incidence and looking at the virus, making sure it hasn't changed and where it's spread to try and understand how the initial infections happened.
Briefly, Paul, you've got to feel for the Aussies who are still trying to get home. We're learning this morning that the countries won't let the plane stop to refuel for fear of spreading the infection.
Yeah, look, it's a terrible situation for them. Obviously, I feel for them. And, you know, we know that this virus is hard to transmit. We know with simple precautions the chance of any onward transmission is extremely low. So hopefully that is considered when we look at the plans to return those people home.
All right, Paul Griffin, thank you very much for that.